Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Johnson. I'm a Microsoft consultant with Champion Solutions Group, mainly concentrating in the Azure space. And as you can see, we're going to talk about Azure Arc, which is one of the bigger developments coming out of Microsoft Ignite 2019. If you could take a look here, you can see Microsoft's little tagline on their marketing page. It says, "Bring Azure services and management to any infrastructure," and that's essentially what it does. It'll take workloads and servers that are located on premises. They could be located in AWS, Google Cloud, another data center. And it allows you to manage those resources as connected devices inside of the Azure portal, a single pane of glass, if you will. So now, if you think about it, we've got many possibilities that can happen here. If you're a CSP or an MSP, you're able to utilize Azure Lighthouse and manage these devices and these workloads that are on premises. You can integrate Azure Sentinel and tie in, logic apps for automation and remediation. You can utilize Azure Update Management. Tag these resources and orchestrate your updates. Even implementing compliance and governance and policies for these resources are completely possible. So what we're going to be doing in this video is deploying Azure Arc on a few machines. I'm on a Server 2016 box. I also have a 2008 R2 and an Ubuntu machine. So we're definitely going to get that deployed here in this video. But before I start, I would encourage you to take a look at Microsoft's marketing page for Azure Arc, and also look at the blog that they released as well for the announcement of this product. This is in preview right now. Definitely deploy it to your tenant. Get accustomed to some of the new features. So I'm jumping over here into an Azure tenant, and as you can see right here, we've got three different sections here, and that's really what Azure Arc is right now. I mean, there's three distinct components. We've got Azure Arc for Service, which is again what we're going to be doing in this video. We got Azure Arc for Kubernetes and Azure Arc for Data Services. We'll talk about these in a later video, but just know that this is not just covering servers. When you're ready to deploy the agent to servers, all you need to do is jump in here. You can search for Azure Arc. You can click Manage Servers, and it'll take you to a very familiar screen. And inside of here, we'll go ahead and create a machine inside of Azure Arc. Now, this will allow you to go through and do this, but you're going to run into an issue if you've not done this before, and that's because it requires a resource provider to be registered, two of them, in fact. And if you run through this and go to the end screen, it'll greet you with a button saying, "Hey, you haven't registered the resource provider for this. You want to go ahead and do it." So it's a nice little simple GUI interface. I've already done this through PowerShell, and as you can see, this is the command right here on your screen. Now, there are two ways to do the deployment of this of this agent. The agent requires outbound 443, by the way, and there are two ways to get this deployed. You can do this one by one, obviously in test and in smaller environments. That's the way we would do it. In larger enterprise environments, we would obviously want to do this at scale, and deploying this at scale is just a little bit different. It requires us to do an app registration, and for those that have done this through the Azure Active Directory applications, it's a simple app registration. Give us some permissions, and you're off to the races. There's going to be multiple ways to do that deployment. Utilizing Azure Automation, SCCM, and a number of other ways. So for this particular video, we're going to go ahead and generate a script. And as you can see right here, we've got a resource group that I've already created. We've got a region inside of here, which is going to be West US 2. There are only three regions that we're able to deploy this to as it is right now. We're going to go ahead and start with Windows. I'm going to go ahead and next. So we've got our proxy servers, and for obviously, if you don't have direct internet access or outbound internet access for that particular server, you need to put that information in. And then we've got some tagging that you can deploy during this particular deployment, but you can tag these resources after the fact too. And then when you hit next, it generates the script. Now, again, if you didn't do the resource provider ahead of time, it would put a little button right above the script, and you'd be required to click that so it can go ahead and do that for you. Again, a nice little GUI interface. But then there are three steps that this goes through: downloading of the package, installing of the package, and then connecting it to your particular Azure tenant. So the first step right here, downloading of the package, I've already done that on this server. So I'm going to just skip to the second step, which is the installing of this package. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we'll run this inside of this PowerShell window. And then we're also going to go ahead and run this on the 2008 R2 server that I've got right here. And not much of an installation. And once it's installed, you're going to notice something. There is a service that is required for this right here, Azure Hybrid Instance Metadata Service. And you need to make sure that that guy is running all the time. And you can also see, if you go into the programs and features, you'll see Azure Connected Machine Agent. Okay, so once that's installed, then you can go ahead and run the connect command. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, and we'll paste this. It looks like I didn't get this copied onto the notepad. Let's try this again. There it goes. So for those that are a little familiar with the Azure CLI, you're familiar with this. You see where it makes you open up another page and do the device login. So let me open up a new private window here, and we'll pop in this code. And then we're going to go ahead and take care of the login. All right. And then as you can see, we've signed in. We can close this window. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the 2008 R2 machine. I'm going to go ahead and copy this again and pasting it. And as you can see, once again, we need to open up a web browser. I've got one open here. Let's paste this. Did that take? I don't think it did. Let's try this again. All right, and then I will go ahead and log in once again. All right, and this one is also taken care of. So as you can see, we can close this window and it will finish doing its thing. So once it's done, and you'll see momentarily here that there it is, successfully onboarded a resource to Azure, and you can see that also on this 2016 machine as well. Once it's completed, I'm going to go ahead and click back here on the breadcrumb, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh this screen. And you can see right here, we've got our Server 2016 machine showing up in here. Our 2008 R2 machine is still finishing up, and we'll be able to see that momentarily. But right inside of here, you're able to manage this entire resource in any way you'd like to. You can see the policies. We could see the resource ID. Everything in here is exactly what we would expect from an Azure resource. And as you can see here, we've got our Server 2008 R2 machine that's also shown up, and it's also connected. So let's go ahead and get this thing deployed for Linux as well. I've got an Ubuntu machine that I'm SSH'd into, so let's go ahead and go through this experience again. This time I'm going to go ahead and select Linux, and I'm just going to skip straight to the end of this. Same type of experience here. You have to download the package, which I've already done, and then you got to do the installation of the hybrid agent, which I've also done, but I'm going to go ahead and rerun this command again just for the experience here, and then we'll go ahead and connect. So I'm SSH'd into this, so I'm going to go ahead and paste this in, and it will go ahead and do its thing. And then while it's completing, let's go ahead and copy this command as well. And let's go ahead and paste this in. And same thing, we need to open up a web browser and type in this code to authenticate. So I've already VNC'd into this server. So let's go ahead and jump into Firefox as I am, and we'll open up this and type in the code. If I could type that correctly. All right, and then we'll go and sign in. And we'll send the notification. Finish authentication. And we're all set. And back over here on our SSH screen, you'll see that it'll complete the deployment, and as you can see, we successfully onboarded the device. So again, back inside of the Azure portal, if you want, you could jump back over here, and in a few moments, that server will show up. All right, let's see. Yep, there it is. All right, so all of our servers have shown up, so everything is working as advertised, and then we can go about managing our resources as need be. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. Again, my name is Chris Johnson with Champion Solutions Group, and we'll have more content for you guys soon. Thanks.